Hello again. The reason I went into Teach for America mainly was because I grew up in Philadelphia in the United States, a big urban city, and I went to public school, and much like most urban cities, public schools are pretty bad. Because I was a really good athlete and I did pretty good in school, I won a scholarship to a private school. And when I got to the private school, I got really the necessary training and the proper education so that I could continue. But most of my friends, the rest of my family didn't have that opportunity, and I could pretty much see the difference between how my life went and how their life ended up. Sports again was really big for me, so I won a scholarship to college for track and basketball. But even when I got to college, anybody Georgetown University? You ever heard of Georgetown? So the big prestigious university, and when I got there, I felt that I wasn't prepared as well because most of the students there had been training, since they were very, very young in very top schools. So when I got there, I felt, shy, and I didn't want to take a lot of chances because I felt different. I felt really different. And being an athlete didn't help because everybody labeled you as the dumb athlete, So it was really difficult. But my life premise and what keeps me going was the idea that hard work will get you there. And there's no substitute really for hard work. It was very hard to do plus do sports. So I switched my major to psychology, and never ever thought that I would be a teacher, ever. They didn't make enough money. But I had a really good friend who would mentor me, and she told me if I ever want to understand why my life is the way it is, and why cities and schools operate as they do, and how kids are eventually ever going to make it, you have to teach. I thought that I wanted to go into policy and change the laws and figure out, on a government level, how schools can get better. And she said, no, the way the schools get better is great teachers. And I said, well, I'm not going to teach, so no way. And she was in Teach for America, and so like I mentioned before, I was an athlete. I was training for the Olympics for 2000, and I didn't make the team. And after I didn't make the team, I didn't know what I was going to do. I finished my master's degree, and my friend, her voice kept ringing in my head about teaching, and I love work. The first year was just like that, a disaster. And that day I realized, though, how powerful and how important and what a big responsibility teaching was. You can't just wake up and go do it. And the children wanted to learn, but because I wasn't prepared, you know what happened next, right? They just went crazy. That was much of the first year. The children are the same everywhere. If they're not engaged, highly engaged, then they do what they want to do. The first thing, how children just sit down. Just create some order in my classroom. So, I spent probably the entire first 2 months just figuring out how my classroom operated. And the minute they walked in the door, I had a vision of what they should do from every second. And I literally wrote out every minute what they should do minute by minute for the entire time. And I kept on my first year just like that, and kids would throw chairs, and they would throw their shoes, and there was fights, and they cursed me out, and eventually one day I said, all right, enough, and then I'm done. I was like, I will not teach you guys another day if you don't get yourselves together. And so they started to tell me that, one, I got better. The year went on, I was getting better. Teach for America was still very young, so I didn't get a lot of help from, you guys had a lot of support here. I didn't have a tutor to come in and work with me. The tutor that they hired for me told me that she was a retired teacher, and she said that my classroom was too high in the building because I was on the 4th floor. and she didn't want to walk up the steps. So she would just leave me notes in the main office. Keep up the good work, make sure that they, she never would see me teach. So I didn't have anyone to help me, and I just got sick and tired of being defeated every day. I got adamant about my rules and making sure that everybody was following my rules. And for some reason, she thought that I was doing a really good job, and she nominated me for a Teacher of the Year award. I guess one hint or a secret that I'll share with you is that part of the reason why the children started to behave in my class more was because I built a relationship with them. And I got there before school and I was there after school. Even though I was only supposed to be there or got paid to work from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I would get there at 7 and stay till 6. I would walk some of the kids home, some of the children, they lived in a bad neighborhood, some of them were scared to walk home. I would walk them home, or I gave them my phone number so they could all call me whenever they wanted to. And of course, they didn't call for important things. They called, "What are you doing? Where's your girlfriend?" So, but I would just talk with them, and I would play sports with them and hang out with them. And eventually they just started to feel comfortable with me, and they would tell the other kids, "He's cool. He's cool. Don't misbehave in his class. He's cool. Plus, he's going to do what he says he's going to do." So I started to develop, consequences in my classroom. So if the children talked all morning, I would keep them in for lunch, all during my lunch period, or keep them after school, or give them extra assignments. So whenever I said I was going to do something, I did it. Because the children know as soon as you say something and you don't do it, they want it. They want it back. I realized if I knew their parent's name, that was really good too. And I would say, "Hey, I bet you Rachel doesn't know that you're acting like this right now." And then, "How do you know my mom's name?" I'm like, "Oh, I was talking with her last night." Like, "You talked to my mom?" "Yeah, and your father David, yeah, we're gonna go out and hang out this weekend."
De 20 alunos tem 2. Então, como aplicar tão uma consequência assim se a gente já está no programa de educação? E mais uma coisa, a minha dificuldade, a gente quer mudar uma cultura escolar. Só que eu estou com o aluno, o ensino está com o aluno 2 vezes na semana. O aluno continua nas regras da escola, que às vezes não há regras, durante 5 dias. Como que eu vou fazer esse feito durante 2 dias, 2 horas que eu estou? Na verdade, eu estou com eles 2 horas por semana.
There is no how to teach. There are ones that is really hard. So I appreciate what you're doing. I know what you're going through. I've been there. I'm still there. It's really, really hard. 2, don't give up. All right? Attitude is really important when you go into the classroom. 3, back to my favorite word, fun. Is this the room that they come to? When they walk through that door, it has to be like a whole nother world for them. It has to be, you should have the kids banging and trying to get in. Now what that is, you guys are going to have to come up with that together on what are you going to use to motivate kids. I know some teachers, like I said, they use McDonald's, pizza. I had teachers that dressed up every day in like crazy costumes because the kids always want to come and see what are you going to wear tomorrow? What are you going to wear the next day? You have to really think outside of the box and get really creative. What is going to make every kid in this school want to bang this door down? Is it the appearance of the room? Is it the rewards? It has to be something here that they want that is parallel to their education, right? We all would love to have students who just, they're perfect and they say, "I want an education, and I'm going to do the right thing, but I want an education." There aren't many children like that, right? We have to give them a reason to want to be in this room. You want them to have fun. You want them to make a choice to come and have fun, but you always have to bring it back to, we're doing this for the purpose, the mission